You're listening to Heroes in the Moment. What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
Today, we're breaking down The Mandalorian Chapter 22. Guns for Hire.
I was not feeling this one, Michael.
Okay. This is
Really?
the least rated episode of the series
Really?
ever.
The
So,
series?
yes, of the series.
The entire Mando series.
Mando series is the least rated episode.
What does it have?
It has
Do we
a
know?
6 point something on IMDb, I think.
That's not terrible.
No,
Still,
it's not terrible.
A 6 is still
but yeah,
decent.
it's the least rated episode of the series. And personally, I have mixed emotions about this episode. Personally, like on one hand, as just like if it was just like a standalone, fun, thinking about it, I enjoyed the episode. I thought it had funny elements.
It was
I thought
funny,
it was entertaining. Those elements. But when I think of the interconnectivity of Mando and the show itself, it seemed purposeless. What do you think?
I mean, it just really seemed like a useless filler episode. Besides the stuff at the very end, right? With Bo-Katan,
right.
and then plus having the cameos. It just didn't make it feel like it was in Star Wars.
Right.
So say if it was just Jack Black and somebody else, as his wife, I'd be like, okay, I can kind of dig it. But Jack Black is Jack Black. But you throw in Lizzo, and then you're looking at like two A-list stars, you're like, okay, like you said earlier, this is feeling like an SNL.
Yeah, exactly. It
skit
feels
instead.
SNL-esque instead of it being Star Wars. I mean, you throw in, like we just said, I mean, it had cameos of Jack Black and Lizzo. It just is really, really weird to me. I mean, Jack Black is awesome. I know he loves Star Wars and he's always wanted to be Star Wars, and I love Jack Black.
Superman.
But seeing Lizzo, it honestly was like, are you kidding? Why? Why? And what made me
Seeing them
feel
together,
worse?
it was just,
what made me feel worse is she didn't do a bad job. She was just in it.
I know. I wanted to critique her acting so much.
She did well.
She wasn't bad.
She did really well.
She did well.
I was pleased. But then we have also not only Jack Black and Lizzo, but we had flipping Christopher Lloyd in this episode as well. Back to the Future, my guy.
Well, see, I feel like he actually fit in pretty well, to be honest.
He fell in well. He was a separatist. That was cool.
I know, that was cool. And it was cool, but I really feel like he nailed his part. I wasn't distracted by him, but just seeing Jack and Lizzo together, it was just like, okay, what in the SNL
Jack Black
going
and Lizzo are just like so similar. Like, it's weird. Like when I placed in my mind.
In a weird sort of way.
Exactly. Like I would have never thought of them as a duo before, but now it's like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's weird. But yeah, I agree. It just, like we said, it felt more SNL, like it was a skit, more than it should have been. I mean, when you have Mando and Bo-Katan land on this planet and they're having them do a side quest of battle droids, it's a cool plot, but it's an episode 3 plot, not an episode, what was it, 6
I know,
plot.
6 plot, right? And there's 2 episodes left,
right?
Exactly. Right. Episode 3 would have worked.
So I do think this season is failing in a sense of interconnectivity. This season, we're having a lot of trouble seeing where the season is going. Like I don't know where it's going.
Like, is this Bo-Katan's show now? Like, it's starting to feel. Well, I know that's the focus of the third season, but I told you before, like, this is by far, well, maybe not by far, this is the worst Mando season. Yeah,
I agree. I completely agree with you. I feel like there's been good episodes, but the interconnectivity of these episodes hasn't been there. I know, which has been unfortunate. See, I don't know what they're building towards. Which I know. The purpose of this show is not the destination, not the ending. It's the journey. Yeah, is what the show is about. So
the destination is the journey.
Right. So it's weird. And I know like a lot of people are arguing it's because the show is called The Mandalorian, not because it's Din Djarin's Mandalorian. It's because it's about the Mandalorians. So you have those things, but at the same time, I completely agree with you. It is starting to. Din Djarin's getting this kind of a side character boost in the season, where he should be the main. And I like Bo-Katan as a character. I genuinely do.
Dope.
And I like seeing her, process, go through and trying to recruit these Mandalorians. But it just, if it's too late in the season and it's not showing enough interconnectivity for this episode to have occurred. Does that make sense?
No, I get you.
Yeah, but it was cool to see like them going after battle droids and like stopping them.
The battle droids just sprinting away. And that was funny.
I thought it was like he was kicking them and he was like, I gotta find out which one is it. That was funny. And I can't remember. He said one particular line and I was dying. It was one of my favorite lines he ever said. And I can't remember what it was. It was about the droids or something. And he said something so funny, but it was so natural. Like it's something he would say, but it was hilarious. And I can't remember. Always have to find it later, but talking about the battle droids. But they went after the battle droids.
Yeah.
And they stopped it and they figured out that Christopher Lloyd was the problem and he was a separatist formerly. And we got a name drop for Count Dooku.
I got so hyped.
That was cool.
That kind of got me a little crazy.
That was really cool because he was a visionary.
I was like, yes, he was.
But that was actually really cool. And I appreciated that because I mean, flipping Obi-Wan and Anakin haven't even been name dropped in this show. So
no, they haven't.
Count Dooku can be. Let's go.
I know. You know what? We'll put Jack Black and Lizzo, and we'll write it kind of weird so you don't know how it's connected to Star Wars universe. Right. But we'll name drop Count Dooku for you guys.
I know. It was weird too, though. Like every time I saw Jack Black and Lizzo on screen, and it wasn't like Din Djarin and Bo-Katan, it didn't feel Star Wars to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it felt like almost like what's that Seth MacFarlane show he did, that weird space show that he came up with?
Oh yeah,
it felt like that.
Yeah, what's it called? Owen Wilson.
I don't think.
Right,
I
think he's
Wilson.
in it.
I don't know.
It's on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, I think so, or it's Hulu, or one of those two.
Cole watched it or something like that.
It starts with the O, I think. What was it? I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Owen Wilson. With kids.
It's just Owen Wilson's show.
Dude, I know what you're talking about. No. Okay, I'm thinking about a different show with Owen Wilson. No, it's like a ripoff of Star Trek.
The Orville.
It
felt like that. Felt like the Orville, and not Star Wars, because literally, like, even their suits look similar to what Christopher Lloyd was wearing in the episode. Like,
he looks kind of like Miss Fantastic in that picture.
He does,
doesn't he?
He does.
Cast Seth MacFarlane.
No, he needs to be cast
Lois
as whatchamacallit, the singer guy. Oh shoot, because he could sing really good.
The singer guy.
What's his name? I feel so bad.
Which universe?
Like a really big name. You remember because he sings really good.
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane, he could be cast.
Yeah, he's like the mouse in Sing, isn't he?
No, that's Matthew McConaughey.
No, I mean, no.
Oh
no,
in the
first one.
Yeah, the first, the mouse.
And he's like on the mic. And the koala.
We're going so tangent. Anyway,
shout out Matthew McConaughey.
Shout out Matthew McConaughey. Shout out Seth MacFarlane. We love you. Hire us as writers. All right. Anyway,
that's funny.
So yeah, okay. They stop the droids. They figure out the problem. We get the Count Dooku name drop, and then we finally get to where the episode was building towards, and that being her going to the rest of the Mandalorians that she was interacted with originally when we saw her in season 2, and she challenged the one dude who is their new leader for leadership.
Yeah,
and they fought and they battled it out. And she won, which I was cheering for her.
Dub.
She did take the dub.
W.
And after this, we see Mando come up with the claim that the Darksaber does rightfully belong to Bo-Katan because of the fact of the Mines of Mandalore, that he got taken down
by the
and
robot
taken from
thingy.
him, right? And then she came back and avenged him and took
with
it back.
The
so
Darksaber.
Technically, it belongs to her.
The question arises: why didn't he do it before then? You know,
right?
Like if he was just honest and upfront about it, wouldn't he have?
Well, I don't know.
Something?
Maybe he just didn't think about it until right then and there. And then also, like, we know he just doesn't want this sword. So, and because he's not good with it.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. But also, my thing is with that kind of logic, the Darksaber technically doesn't belong to either of them. It actually technically belongs to Luke Skywalker. Because if you think about it, Darth Maul originally won the Darksaber, right?
Yeah.
And then Darth Maul had the Darksaber, right?
Yeah.
But then Palpatine beat him with a fight with it.
Yeah, so it should have been Palpatine's.
It should have been Palpatine's. And then Vader took it, and killed Palpatine.
Yeah.
So, and then inevitably Luke actually technically beat Vader.
Yeah, beat Vader.
And then Vader died. So technically Luke is the rightful owner of the Darksaber.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what, technicality, that's what it is.
Dude, Palpatine with the Darksaber.
Dude, that'd be nuts.
That's
it
still,
fits him.
What's that episode? The Lawless, where he kills Savage. That's still one of my favorites.
That's one of the best episodes for sure.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, one of the best arcs.
He just goes crazy.
I think that's probably my second favorite Clone Wars arc.
Really?
Probably.
Oh, dude, that's so good.
So
man.
good. So good.
So good.
But yeah, so technically it's Luke's. But anyway, not worried about that. It's now Bo-Katan. She's the rightful leader of Mandalore. So now my question is, where do we think? Well, it's got 2 episodes left. Where is this show going?
Like two episodes left.
2 episodes left. What are they doing?
Well, I mean, Bo-Katan finally has everything that she wanted. Like the whole time, a Darksaber, but then this whole show they've been kind of acclimating her to the fact that she doesn't need the Darksaber.
Right.
That she can bridge the clans. But now that she has it with 2 episodes left, it's like, what more is there to do?
Right.
Like, is she gonna go on Are they
going to go back to Mandalore? There's got to be something with the Mythosaur.
Who's the bad guy? You know what I'm saying?
I know. Is it the armorer?
I'm getting the feeling it's going to be like Mandalorians versus Mandalorians.
Probably. Like a war again.
Yeah,
another
probably.
civil war.
No, probably. Like, honestly
they can't
who
get
else
along.
are they going to do? She's probably going to go back there, and then she's going to make some outlandish claim now that she has a Darksaber. Then Din's going to have to solo her. I don't know.
I don't think Din will fight her. And I think it'll be more them fighting
And
together.
I also think it's problematic that we really don't have a clue
I know that is kind of a problem. Unless they're like saving something huge and they're going to shock us all. I don't know. That's very possible knowing the show, but we'll see. I mean, I do think that they're going to go back to Mandalore. I do think that Din Djarin's going to be the one to conquer the Mythosaur and ride it. But I don't know. We'll have to see what happens in the next 2 episodes. I mean, I want to see what happens just because I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a bad thing, but also it's cool to think about. But at the same time, it's like this episode didn't feel like an episode 6 episode.
No, of course. And I will say that, I mean, as far as filler episodes for this season have gone, there's been no stops for gas or no really ship repairs.
That's true.
It's every time they stop for a filler, they do a good job building a world, that we're interested in. But I mean, like, honestly, I hate to say it, but like season 1, like stops for gas, like kind of beat out the fillers that they're doing now.
I know, and it's unfortunate. I mean, season 2 is still clearly the best.
I know, season 2 is really good.
Season 2 is fantastic, and honestly, now I'm thinking back, I think it would have been the perfect ending to the story if they ended it with Luke Skywalker taking Grogu.
Man.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm all for multiple season shows. I mean, except if it goes overboard.
Yeah.
But it's starting to feel like, what are they doing? What are they building to? So we'll have to wait and see.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms, so check it out. Speaking of checking it out, we have a ton of episodes out. We have I think our last episode was our news, 32 or 33, something like that. Anyway, go ahead, check it out. We got a ton of fire content coming out.
That's very true.
If you want to stay up to date with our socials, check out the Instagram. It's Here's in the Moment, in our TikTok, Here's in the Moment with an extra T.
Also, don't forget, this is news to you guys, we're going to have an Ultimate Star Wars Day podcast because we just have so much content. And also coming out today is the Bad Batch Season 2 review. So check that out as well. And we just want to thank you for listening. And as always, we love you 3000.